It's funny, I checked that address multiple times too. I don't get it. You are?
I'm reading in my heart. And it's gonna be.
What if I don't let you leave on time?
What?
What if I don't let you leave on time?
I was late last night.
Because weren't you doing some last minute stuff and your husband was here and?
Yes, yeah, my tire,
Yeah,
was flat.
but did you ever get that repaired?
The wife was bought on the new tires. I needed new tires,
Oh,
so.
hi. It is my job. Okay. Hello, Lisa. It's Mark. Will Bernadette be joining CONA on Zoom at 9? Okay, got it. Bye. Morning. Hey, just checking to see if you're going to be on the CONA call in 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, is there anything you want me to pass on? Morning, Melly.
Hi, Mark. You're the Zoom person today?
I started it. I didn't know if Kathy was going to start it, so I just fired it up. So yes, I am the town administrator administrating the CONA meeting.
There you go.
Got a lot of administration here.
Oh my goodness, there are names on here I've never seen before, but welcome to Connor and Justin, whomever they are.
I don't know.
Oh, your students at Wyndham Tech assigned to join a town meeting.
They're here for extra credit.
Must be a project. I wonder if they live in Columbia.
Justin says he does live in Columbia.
He does not. Yeah, I see his little chats.
Oh, he does not. Yes, I see the not. Are we going to have the whole class joining us?
You never can tell. I think so. Lynn, you're muted.
How about now?
There you go.
Good morning,
Good morning. The
kind of, sort of.
first Zoom meeting I ever did, however many years ago started this, what, 2? I didn't have my speakers on any volume and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't hear them. They couldn't hear me. Took a while to figure it out.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Cap.
Excuse me.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. It'd be nice when we can do it in person in my lifetime.
Sure.
Margie isn't coming. She's not feeling well, so
Oh,
we'll see if everybody else shows up, which would be lovely. So anybody have some good news after awful yesterday?
No.
no,
Hard to think of good news.
right.
Out.
Uh,
Tearful
Here we
2
go.
days here.
Here we go again, huh?
Right.
The CEO of Kerma, Dave Demchak, I was texting him last night. Kerma, which is our state insurance pool agency, Kerma was very involved in Newtown behind the scenes, getting support for all mainly they're focusing on the employees because they insured the employees through workman's comp, all the police, the firemen, the rescue, and the trauma that they dealt with. And they've already reached out to Texas
Oh,
to offer assistance.
That's great.
Yeah. Never
Mark,
enough.
Mark, do we have somebody on site at Porter?
Yes, I last night had was talking with the superintendent and we have a state trooper.
Oh, good.
And I'm sure there's they're making counseling available. They haven't brought me up to speed on what their plans are there.
Awful, awful. Well, I've been going in person to the hearings on the proposed wedding venue in town.
Oh, have you?
Oh, have you?
I have.
Where are we at with it?
I have no idea.
The public hearing was extended to June 13th,
Excuse me.
so it's the second extension of the public hearing.
Yeah.
So they they couldn't conclude Monday night.
What my take is from it, if anybody wants to know.
Yeah, I do.
is, I think that the applicant is spending phenomenal amounts of money to get this through with all of their experts and coming in or whatever. And the thing that seems to be missing is the people that live there do not want it.
Yeah.
Do not. And they're the lives that are being impacted. So it's kind of what one person wants versus what 50 households don't want. It just, to me, just doesn't make sense. And he would have saved himself a lot of money if he had maybe just done a mailing. You can get everybody's address saying, you know, I'm thinking about doing this with the property, and do you have any feelings about it, before I went and spent all of this money? It would have been a much better way to do it, but
Is the property that beautiful? I mean,
the property is beautiful.
is it? I haven't been up there in years.
Yeah. But there's no way that you can control noise. You know,
No.
you're living in a nice quiet area and all of a sudden you got a wedding venue.
The other piece of that concerns me is that there's lots of residential properties spread throughout the town.
You're good,
Thank
Kathy.
you. Okay, good morning to the students and to the commission members. I would like to ask someone if they would be willing to take minutes.
I can't this time.
I
Got a
will.
lot.
I'll take those.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, as I said before, Margie is not feeling well. That's why she's not here. And I don't know about Maggie and Joanne. So we'll just make note they're not here. I need a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I motion.
Yeah. Jill, second.
Fine. Who was the first one?
You are. You
I'm
made
the
the
first,
motion?
okay.
Okay, and
Yeah, I
second?
make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Okay, Millie? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? None. Okay, so that passed. Thank you. I'm not sure if Bernadette is coming, Mark, do we know?
No, she's not, but she gave me some things to report on.
Okay, so why don't we get Bernadette's report?
She's traveling at the moment. Right now, there's two events coming up. You have an art show that they're preparing for June 7th through the 9th at the Senior Center, and they're having a dinner dance on the 4th of June. Tickets are available at the Senior Center, and that'll run from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Okay,
And the numbers for participating in lunch have dropped back a little bit. Millie, you might have a better handle on that. I don't know if have you been in helping out at all?
Not since, no, but I am helping tomorrow, so I'll get a better handle tomorrow.
Okay. So I guess my theory is maybe this last upswing to COVID kept more people home.
yeah,
For caution. And the Public Works Department fixed, they had 2 collars above the septic tanks in the parking lot. These are collars made out of brick. Well, they disintegrated over the years and they were collapsing. So Public Works repaired all that and repaved the road, and Public Works came in and redid the curbing.
Oh.
Senior Center is looking good.
Okay. Any questions, anybody that he might know?
Mark, I just have a question because I did talk to Bernadette yesterday and she said that the van has mechanical issues and we have fallen under the supply shortage.
Right, so we fixed the brakes, we fixed everything that was, normal mechanical. What we can't get is a part to fix the wheelchair lift. So what they've decided to do, if we get in a bind and we really need the van for an event, they're gonna go just get it if it won't require the lift. But right now it's at the Ford could not work on the lift. It has to be an authorized vendor that does wheelchair lifts. So I forget where it is. It's sitting somewhere waiting for a part. And we're using the heck out of the car instead. Yeah.
Is there any, I'm sure there's not, but is there any option of borrowing one from Lebanon or Andover in the opportunity that there is someone in a wheelchair that really does need to get to doctor's appointments?
I asked Bernadette to look into ride sharing and to also look into whether the company could get a part from another van that's just sitting around not being used. And then we replace the part, but I haven't gotten feedback as to any solution at the moment.
Got it.
Is one car
So-
adequate for the transportation so far?
I don't know. I don't know how many people they're turning away.
So do we have a name of an authorized dealer to send it to?
Yes, it was,
Okay, okay.
we, wherever it is, they work on, that's what they do. They're an authorized vendor
Oh,
for
okay.
working on vans and wheelchair lifts.
Gotcha. Okay.
If they're turning away X amount of people, would it be worthwhile to look into renting a car or leasing a car for short term until that's taken care of?
Let me find out if we have an issue. If there, I haven't gotten any negative feedback that there's, that we're not being able to help everybody. Like the big key would be, obviously, we're not helping anybody that needs a wheelchair to get somewhere.
Right, right.
So that's the big one. And I don't know if John and his mom, I haven't seen them for a while, whether they're coming out to the senior center.
Okay.
And I think I
they-
haven't seen them coming out even before the van broke.
Are they transporting with the car, the wheelchair, like you can put in the trunk, or the van driver doesn't want to lift a wheelchair, etc.?
I'm sure they would, if that was possible. I don't see a problem because the car's trunk is plenty big. I'm sure.
Are
there's
we
nothing-
still, are we still part of WRTD?
Yes.
Do
And I'm
they
sure
also-
they're recommending dial-a-ride when we can't handle the, we always recommend dial-a-ride when we can't do it.
Oh, good.
Right, so there's an option anyway.
So I'll follow up, Kathy, with Bernadette. I'll call Lisa right after this meeting and find out.
Thank you.
And then I'll email you.
Okay. All right, the big one, senior housing.
Oh, I actually have good news.
Hey,
So we are negotiating with someone. I can't go into details because it's not public yet, but it's a perfectly located property and it's large. Could hold quite a bit of housing. And Stephen right now is doing the negotiations personally. And then bring in the board, and I'll get more involved once we have something a little more concrete. So I think I'll have more to report at the next CONA meeting.
Is
Great.
the property got enough area that's not wetland problems? Do we know?
It's perfect,
Wow. Wonderful.
right?
Well,
So,
that's a glimmer of good news.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this property could hold 30 units if you want to build 30.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that's
It's
the
hard to-
goal.
It's hard to believe it's in Columbia and there's not wetlands.
Right.
Or ledge.
Oh, there's a few.
Is there any kind of a timeline at this point?
No, I just have to trust that Stephen is going to get to the point where we have a good hard number, and I can bring it to the Board of Selectmen and then really get going. So you'll be the first to get called as soon as I have something that we can talk about publicly.
Okay.
And then I'll
And is
get
the-
everybody.
Is the plan still at this point to find someone that would be doing the building and managing? Is that?
Yes, so
where we
that'll
are?
be my next step parallel. I'll put together an request for qualifications and request for a proposal, and I'll reach out to the Goldsteins just to see if they're still interested, and then try to figure out who else might be interested in managing.
Okay, well, I'm just thinking building costs now too. Holy cow.
Right, but you know how long these things take, even
Yeah. Yeah.
you're still quite a ways, and maybe things will get a little more normal in a year.
So hope so.
Well, that's good news. Thanks, Mark. I think we
You're
all
welcome.
needed a little good news today.
Yeah.
Of
Yes.
some kind. Okay. Spring programs, Margie said she has a partial list that she's gonna send to Bernadette for things that are available through Hartford Healthcare. So that's what she found. So for programs. And I don't know if we want to talk about next fall, maybe looking into doing some of the things at the senior center that CONA would arrange. Or wait and see from the list what people are interested in. What's your thought?
Why don't we wait? Why don't we wait and see from the list? And everything seems so fluid right now that I don't think long-range planning is happening.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, things could change quite a bit, so.
Yeah.
Jill, how are things at your facility as far as that, since I
We're
think
doing
you're in the
okay
midst of
here.
it?
We had with the CDC kind of opening everything up for Easter. The skilled nursing facilities are certainly feeling the repercussions of that because of course everybody went to go visit their family members without any masking. Not that a lot of them wouldn't have done that anyways, but it just increased. So we are seeing a lot of COVID, folks coming in, even those that have been vaccinated. We're seeing, of course, the people who are unvaccinated be a lot more compromised, but we're not denying anybody admission, for those reasons. But it's very hard on them because they have to be quarantined. They have to be quarantined for 10 to 14 days. Actually, I think it's 14 days or something like that. They can't leave their rooms. People can come visit them, but it's a very hard thing for them to go through. And we still have people out there that just, do not understand the necessity of the vaccinations. And even though we're getting those people who are vaccinated, their symptoms are very, very small, if any. Most of them don't even know they have it. So, but those who are unvaccinated are kind of paying the price for it. So I'm waiting to see what the new monkey thing is.
Yeah.
There's like next one. Yeah. You don't know.
Jill, do you
Yeah.
have to wear, I volunteer for a hospice in Douglas
Mhm.
Manor, and we have to wear masks. Doesn't everybody have to
Yes.
wear a mask?
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely. We have to wear a mask anytime that we are in contact with anybody else in here. I'm actually in an office, so we're not required if we're in an office by ourselves to wear a mask, but outside of the office, yep.
Okay.
Mask 20 the whole time, as soon as
Yeah.
we enter the building.
Us
Yeah, so
too.
we're tested, wearing a mask, everything. And we've stayed pretty safe here. We've been very, very lucky. We were very diligent in the beginning and have pretty much stayed that way. We actually, our assisted residential living facility has had more problems because, of course, they're out and about more. So they have seen an influx of cases in the past few weeks. And again, that is coming after the Easter break. Hey, just an update while I'm on, I want to let you all know, I'm not sure if you do know. So we have now we have a memory care unit here at Pierce. It is a private pay unit, but it is a memory care unit. It's actually part of our assisted residential living facility, but it's absolutely beautiful. They have just basically finished an $8.5+ million renovation here at Pierce. So it is gorgeous here now. But yeah, so if you're ever in any need, just give me a yell and, set something up. You can come in, take a look, whatever. Okay.
Great.
Do they have any printed information that could be left at the senior center for what's available?
You know what? They are working on stuff, but I will try to get it. And anybody, we are actually doing somewhat of an open house on June 9th here at Pierce. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning. You are welcome to stop by anytime to see it too. You're welcome to come on that day or, come any other time. Just give me a yell. I'll give
Thank
the
you.
full-
Well,
Thank you.
I know it's in
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
Connecticut. Literally, it's 20 minutes, well, maybe 25 minutes from you. It's right down Route 6. Literally, you know where the Brooklyn Fairgrounds are?
Mhm.
Walk to the fairgrounds from here. So it's literally down Route 6, right onto 169. We are a quarter of a mile down on the left.
I know that prior to this, I would get calls from people for their relatives wanting
Yeah.
to know what was available in the community. And at that point, the only two memory care places were at now Colebrook Village in Hebron and a facility in Glastonbury. Those are the two closest.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
I think that people would appreciate that if they could get that to the senior
Yeah,
center.
I'll
That
bring
might be
some and drop it off to Burn.
yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
be helpful.
Jill,
That's
what's
good to
the
know.
complete name of your facility?
So it's interesting. So we are a huge campus. I'm not sure if you know, but so Pierce Care is actually the name of the whole, is kind of the whole encompassing name. But that includes an assisted residential memory care unit and again, the skilled nursing facility. And it is just a giant piece of property that was actually donated to the Baptist by the Pierce family. I can't even remember the date, umpteen years ago. So every section kind of has a different name. So the assisted residential living is actually called Creamery Brook Village.
Oh, okay.
The memory care unit,
Yeah.
is actually called,
I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
yeah, so the memory care use is called the Pierce House. And then the skilled nursing facility is actually called Pierce Memorial Baptist Home, per se. So, and we are lucky because we are one of the few facilities, and even though we're small, we're only 72 beds, 60 of our 72 beds are private. We only have 6 semi-private, the rest is all private rooms. So it has helped us to maintain, good safety during the COVID period. So we still maintain, so we've been lucky. But yeah, so it's a big, it's a big, huge campus.
Mm.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
The last thing on the old business is the mailbox. I haven't heard back from Joe Courtney's office. I did make contact with someone again. I wrote a letter. And don't you know, as soon as I sent the letter and all the information, I went to Hebron and they
Nice.
too
Good
have
service.
taken out all of those mailboxes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what my letter had said to Joe Courtney and spoke to his aide was that it makes it very difficult for people with disabilities and seniors, certainly, getting in and out of the car, climbing over a curb to get to a slot that you can barely see. So with, my comment was, with all of the technology that's available, there's no reason that they could not develop a better way to do this that would be safe for accepting mail that people could use as a drive-through. So I've yet to hear anything back, but that was probably 6 weeks ago. So the mailbox saga continues. So, here we go. Was there any other new business anybody wanted to talk about?
Kathy, did you see that Joanne and Maggie joined us?
Yes, I did. Hello,
Okay.
Joanne and Maggie. Well, yeah, there she is. Okay.
Good morning. Sorry, I having carpet installed and I had to get the guys started first.
Been there, done that.
Oh.
Maggie, you're on mute. She's working on it.
Aggie, you're muted. It's your little red guy.
Okay,
There you go.
no, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I missed most of the meeting and I'm sorry. For some reason, I misplaced the information that Jennifer usually sends out. But I missed the senior housing report. But something that I have seen recently, and I was trying to look into it a little bit more, is it's supposed to be more affordable housing, and Habitat for Humanity is trying it in some areas, but it's a 3D printed house.
Yeah.
And it can be multiple buildings together, and it was pretty amazing to watch. It can be set up in very quickly compared to regular buildings. And it just looked like it might be something to look at. It's much more cost effective, they said. There's one company that's doing it, has a design where they're setting up the windows and the doors in a way that it's easier to wire the house and everything. And it's almost like reusing or recycling certain materials. And it sounded as though different houses that are being designed are using different materials, but I just thought it might be something to look at or consider. I don't know if, I'm sure Connecticut must have a chapter of Habitat for Humanity, and see whether they might be a resource for us to work with. But, and I'm sorry I missed the housing report from Mark, so.
There's a good possibility for a piece of property. So was Mark's report. So they're in negotiations and it's a good
Okay.
buildable piece of land. So,
Where did you see this, Maggie?
I saw it on the news and then I just started trying to pull up information, do a search.
Oh, okay.
And again, one of the houses that they were showing was a Habitat for Humanity. I can't remember where it was in the country that they were doing it.
Okay.
But there's a
just
number of
wondering.
companies that are getting into
Yeah.
this sort of,
Yeah. We could maybe
housing.
just keep an eye or see if we can find something else on it in the meantime and something to look at down the line,
Right.
during everything. Okay. Okay.
I just have a question on old business. We talked about a bench. Was that delivered in memory?
What I'm doing, and I'm glad Joanne's on, we're about to order it, and I need to have Joanne meet me at Rec Park and decide where's the best location. I've been waiting until we get the pavilion done, just because I think that'll affect some of the key spots where we might want a bench, possibly overlooking the playground, or any of the sports fields. So we should be done with the pavilion in July.
Wow.
Well, let me know. I'm happy to come up and meet you and pick a spot.
Great, thank you,
Thank you.
Joanne.
Thank you.
And Did we come up with what to engrave on the bench?
I think we did last time, right?
Do we
It's not
have
in the
a-
note. It's
If
not in
we-
the notes. I think I would have put it in the notes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just voted to get a bench, and I'll get the same bench we have been ordering for our parks.
How is much lettering do they allow for that?
Well, normally we put it on a plaque and then just add the plaque ourselves. So
Mhm.
Right.
I can work that through my office.
I loved, Joanne and I both attended the grand opening of the senior center and community center up in Willimantic, which is amazing if you have an opportunity to go and see it. But I guess David Foster donated or gave money towards a van for the senior center. And I love the way it was dedicated to Edith Prague. And on the back, what did it read, Joanne? It
Magical?
was Edith Prague's magic bus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Well, here's a thought. If each of us wants to send Mark some suggestions of what might be on that plaque,
Then we could
And then-
vote on it next month if you want.
Okay.
well, we don't see you for 2 months.
Oh, that's right. You take
We're
the
every other
summer off.
month. So or you can send them to me and then I'll just hit a reply all. And then we can at least see what's there and make a decision. I'm not sure that has to be a motion.
I don't think so.
No. Just make sure you're all happy with what we write.
So if you want to send that to me, and I'll just send out everybody's and then we'll just make a decision. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
very
Okay.
good.
So why don't we say within the next 2 weeks,
Okay.
come up with something so we have a timeline and then we'll send whatever we decide to Mark so he has that information. So we'll just kind of rate them. Okay, anything else under new business?
Oh, one other thing.
Come on in.
When we recently had hot weather, I started to wonder what older people in Columbia have been doing. And I was wondering, do we open up the senior center or anywhere else for like a shelter for people who might not have air conditioning or are concerned about using a lot of energy? It just seems like it's something that we should have available.
We didn't, the heat, I think the weather forecasts were that it was going to be even hotter than it was.
Oh,
But if something like that happens and it's even hotter, we could easily open the senior center as a cooling center
okay,
on off hours.
Right.
So I think that is something we have to consider, and I'd work with Bernadette on making that happen and then publicizing it to the seniors so they know it's
Right.
available. Oh, one thing I could use the help on, we just had a emergency management drill yesterday statewide with hurricane season coming up. And we had a mock scenario throughout the morning that we had to address. But a big thing one takeaway was that we all have independent lists. The senior center has a list of people who have needs. Eversource has a list, the school has a list, and the town has a list. I think we need to make an effort over this next couple weeks to combine those and check them. Remember when we started doing the calling and we used the old
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
organization list that these seniors had? That didn't work out real well. So I want to make sure the new lists that we're all looking at are correct so that if a major disaster hits, we know what people's issues are, especially if they don't have power.
right. That's a good point.
So I'll work with Bernadette on that.
And I
don't
think
know-
another, oh, I'm sorry,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
think another resource for, because when I lived in Andover, that's what I did, and they were wonderful. The local churches very often know, even if someone isn't a member of their church, they kind of keep on top of what's going on for people in their town. So
Okay.
they were a wonderful resource as far as getting names when I was municipal agent there. So,
Well, the scenario we ran was a major hurricane had a direct hit into Old Saybrook. And I think our town alone had 4,000 trees down.
right,
So if that scenario would happen, like the hurricane of, what was that, 1937?
right.
I think that
38.
was 38. Basically, that's what happened. If that were to happen, you would not have power for over a month, maybe 2 months.
Right.
So trying to figure out how we survive 2 months without power is a huge challenge. Because everybody's
the other-
generators
yeah.
will run out of fuel in the first week.
And the other thing, even if you have a generator, I know we have one, but if the power is gone for that long, even the gas stations aren't pumping.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
When they talk about that, Mark, are they talking about it in a certain season, or are they looking at what you would do, whether it was winter or summer, spring?
In this drill, it happened in warm weather.
Okay. I mean, we have a great resource, believe it or not, we have the lake. And that is a huge, huge resource for us to
But
be able to utilize.
what everyone should have is filtration systems for water that use multiple. You can buy these big buckets and you just pour in lake water into the top that does the first filtration, then does the second filtration for microorganisms and bacteria. So every family should have a water filtration system for long extended power outages. So that might be something that the challenge, I wanted to buy them for the town, but the insurance company wouldn't allow it because I would be then guaranteeing that the water I'm providing as a municipal organization is potable and you'd be perfectly safe drinking it, which I can't make that guarantee.
Right.
But you can buy your own,
Right.
or CONA could buy their own and have them at the senior center just in case
Mhm.
we get in a big challenge. They're like, I think I remember back, the basic ones were about $70. And then you can go all the way up to the super nice ones, the Britas that sit in your house and they're stainless steel.
And they're not dependent on electricity?
No, it's just gravity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So most water filtration systems used for hiking are small and you provide you push the water through the filter, either
Right.
squeezing or pumping. But
Mhm.
if you're trying to do water for cooking and bathing and drinking, you're going to need something bigger than a hiking filter.
Right.
So these scenarios
So
are
Mark,
horrifying when you
Sorry.
go good.
No, I was just going to ask, when you talk about getting some help with these lists, my question is twofold. How often is the social worker up at the senior center working alongside Bernadette? Because this is the perfect task for the two of them to undertake and get a firm list down.
Right.
So how often has she been up there regularly working?
She's supposed to be up there once a week, and
Is
she has
she?
a vaping. I think the next thing, she'll be up there for a vaping presentation.
How often has she been up there? She's supposed to be up there once a week, but is she up there working with Bernadette or the seniors once a week?
No, not yet.
So that needs, my opinion, in because we're so concerned with all these issues, and she's a huge resource. She's now full-time, right? Or almost
She's not.
full-time?
She's not, but starting July 1st, that'll change.
Okay, so in all honesty, we have a huge resource there that isn't being utilized or utilized well. And the two of them need to really work together here. Adults who can get an awful lot done, and people would volunteer for sure. I'm sure some of the seniors would, but we really need to push for the social worker. And you know, I've been very vocal about this in the past, for the social worker to play a much more active role in town, and especially with the seniors. That she's been in that position 2 years now and hasn't yet started being up at the senior center on a regular basis. I don't get it. I don't get it. So she can't work with a group of people from her office. So really need to get that. And people will volunteer to help for sure, but those two people are paid employees. And I understand that Bernadette is sick or whatever, but she hasn't been on a meeting in a very long time, since last fall.
Right.
So that if this is a commission on aging, we need the people who are involved in aging community to be on the meetings on a regular basis.
And I'll make sure that happens.
I think
I don't know if
everybody
you
else feels.
realized how long it's been since Bernadette has been at a meeting, Mark.
I
And we're
know
only meeting
where my
every
mom
other month.
passed
So,
away.
You know, it just seems, and I think we've all thought the same thing, that every other month is not asking a lot.
I hear you.
So, and the other thing I wanted to just, as an other, if this property goes through, which fingers crossed, I think at that point, we should then look at maybe monthly meetings again when things start to gear up. I know we did every other because nothing was happening. But we can put in for special meetings. I can do that and just add them in for the rest of this year as needed. So just kind of keep that in the back of your minds,
Right.
that we might switch back to that if it makes sense. If everybody's on board with that.
Yes.
And again, I missed the housing report, but it sounds like you're saying that there is some property that is
Yes.
being considered now.
Yep.
Do we know where or what?
Nope.
Not yet.
Nope, that's
Okay.
all you get, Mag. That's
All
it.
right.
It's a secret.
It's to pique your interest.
It's that little carrot. It's like a movie trailer.
That's right.
Mark?
Okay, no,
Oh, just one more thing.
yeah,
You talked about the filtration system, and you know that maybe CONA could buy some for the senior center, but our budget's gone this year, and by next year, we're not sure, we might not have many other places to spend it. And it would be next year before we spend it. Does the senior center, if the town, I mean, does the senior center have funds for something like that? At least a few of them?
The problem is with the town buying a filtration system, I'm guaranteeing that the water's perfectly
But
safe.
even if the senior center did it, it would be under that too, is what I'm saying. I
Right, that's, the
understand.
senior center is the town.
Is town. Okay, thank you.
so would it be the same thing if, say, the town bought some and then residents could access them as a discount rate? Or would you be the retailer? I'm just saying, as a third
know.
party, would that be the
It's-
same
it's-
thing?
Liability is such a pain.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I know
It'd be the same.
if we didn't have water for 2 months, no one would really care about liability. You'd be thirsty, so.
I wonder if the Lions Club, I could talk to my husband because that's a volunteer club.
Right.
But
Yes.
whether, and by state statute, unless it changed, volunteers are protected against that sort of thing if something
Correct.
goes wrong. So
Yeah, and that's something. the
I'll
Lions-
ask my husband to see
Goodbye.
if he can talk about that or raise that as an issue maybe. I also remember my husband and I were at Home Depot a while ago, and they were actually handing out flyers that had to do with water testing. So I didn't look into it any further, but that might be something to look at.
That's probably testing your well water to make sure. You
yeah.
need to test it more than every time you buy a house. You really should test to make sure nothing
Right.
is contaminating your water source.
Right.
Question,
Millie?
on these lists you were talking about previously, what age range are you looking to start at?
Well, the focus is what are the issues that might need to be, where someone might need help if we had no power and we ran out of the ability to communicate.
Right, but
So
as,
where do we need to find people?
so as CONA though, would we look at people who are 65 and over? Would we look at people who are 55 and over? Because you can get that information from the voter list. And it's public. That's kind of why I was asking, what range of people do you want to at least have that you can then contact and find out what needs are?
Well, isn't in the senior center 60 and over?
I thought it
I
was
believe so.
55.
I think it's 55.
Okay,
Yeah.
then 55 and older will be the focus of the senior center. And Katie, I'll have to focus on 55 and under, but she can obviously help Bernadette with 55 and over too. We'll make sure that this is publicized in our newsletters and the next views, that people need to sign up and tell us if they have needs. Especially sign up for the newsletter and Everbridge and our blast out, the information, town information.
Yeah.
Your phone.
Well, I think the printed piece that you send out, I think that's really important, especially for people that don't have the technology, that people will sit and read through that magazine.
Yeah.
So if that information is there, I think it's huge.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, is there anything else? No. All right, so our next meeting is July 27th. And you'll, in the next couple of weeks, get me your plaque recommendations for Edith's bench.
Okay.
We all have homework. Well, stay well, everybody. I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Second to
Oh, I
adjourn.
second it. I
Lynn?
second, I'm sorry.
All in
Yeah.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. And okay, so we are 9:48, right?
Mm.
Okay, well, stay well,
10:48,
everybody.
That's what I got.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Stay
too.
well.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye.